A meteor shower is expected to peak over southern Utah.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So when I don't follow my routine, I tend to not get certain things done, obviously. So I still have yet to bathe and shave because of recording the video last night and putting it up this morning for you. KUTV2, I saw this morning, posted a late news, which normally I would see this evening, but because my schedule's off, I saw it. And so I get to discuss it now rather than for tomorrow. They used a body language expert. You know you're a fraud when you have to change the name of your title. To disguise yourself. It's a psychologist. Person is a professional PhD psychologist. Call it what it is, you dumbass. So, he was called by KUTV2 to analyze Tyler Robinson's smiling behavior. He's supposed to be guilty. He needs to plead guilty. He's guilty until proven innocent. Why can't he just plead guilty? So yes, psychologists do external behavioral responses. They don't give a damn about the causation of it. They create the causation by giving name-calling, bullying categorizations of mental retardation. You're bipolar, you're schizophrenic, you're a sociopath, you're autistic, you're blah, 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 blah. And so the outward manifestations of behavioral response, or body language, gets placed into the various categories. And there's some overlapping, and so they have to include other stuff that is specific to the name-calling bullying that all my childhood peers used when they aren't even psychologists. Exactly. And so they then go out publicly or privately, if somebody comes to their practice or somebody's forced to come to their practice, that's where they repeat the bullying name calling. You're mentally retarded. You're mentally retarded. What? No. Yeah, that's the first sign that you're mentally retarded, is denialism. It's abuse. Psychologists are abusers. So, Bad Boys 2, Martin Lawrence is in with the psychologist rather than banging his. And she's telling him he's angry, an outward behavior. And he clearly is not manifesting an outward behavior of anger. And so he goes, no, I'm not. She goes, yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Your saying I'm angry is making me angry. Ta-da! Bad Boys 2 destroys psychology with that one scene. And so, in order to get people into the system, when the 80s Hollywood just ripped psychology to shreds. And so you get the reverse attacks on psychologists for being the frauds that they are by calling them quacks and psychos and all those other name calling back to psychologists. And they are. And that's why they keep changing names of titles and categorizations of mental retardation. Oh, our child, the psychologist said he's special. Psychologists have now changed that to awesome. And they've already got the t-shirts made. You're awesome! It doesn't matter what name you change it to, it all comes back to the same meaning. Mentally retarded. Name calling, bullying. They are not professional. Bullying is not a profession, as much as they get paid. And so they trick companies to help them with advertising. They get into the school systems. They used to attack religion until religion forced them to work for them. Or is that just the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? They used to call being a religious believer mentally retarded. To believe in Jesus? That's mentally retarded. That is psychology. So, people who dream about Jesus, you have dream interpretation books by astrologers, psychologists, who tell you that that's bad. Oh, you saw Jesus in your dream? Oh, things are looking very bad for you. Or if you claim you see a vision like Joseph Smith did of literal history, yep, you're delusional, you're schizophrenic, or whatever other name-calling, bullying categorizations for seeing things that aren't there, when medical science should have stepped in. Or you were just on drugs. And that's also a disturbing trend, is that in order to get more clients, they had to broaden their intake of clients. And so they've been approved by our government to be professionals in court. And so they've added criminal behavior as mentally retarded, as well as drug behavior. When back in the 80s, the commercials came out, this is your brain on drugs. Any questions? Using the frying pan and frying up eggs. Trying to convince teens not to do drugs. That's a medical damage to your brain. It is not mental retardation. People who suffer from strokes, that's medical, not psychological. There's a big difference. Psychology is the fraud and should stay away from all mankind and be locked up permanently. Medical doctors are supposed to be legitimate. We just have to get rid of insurance companies and Big Pharma. Psychologists came from Nazi Germany after World War II. They're thanking their American liberators. And so in commercials, you'll see how they use their fallacy arguments to convince the public to purchase the products for the companies. McDonald's purposely uses the yellow arches and the yellow paint on the walls because the psychologists tell McDonald's that that's a friendly color and you want people to come to McDonald's to feel happy. And thus they call it the Happy Meal. Psychologists. And it worked very well when you get the public to believe the fallacy arguments. There's a difference between logical sound arguments and fallacies. Fallacies are falsehoods. And so, everybody's buying it. I see those ads on YouTube. AI YouTube commercial ads. This is the hottest thing on the market now. Only if you're stupid enough to buy it. So yes, it's all a con. They lie. The secret truth your weighing scale won't tell you. Or my latest favorite, the naked man AI Asian talking to a young AI teen girl, and she's asking him, how can my 56-year-old daddy look like you? YouTube has no problem getting paid for that. But as a creator, if you dare have a woman clothed, you're gone. Yeah, there's a big difference when YouTube gets money versus when they don't. Money talks, BS walks. And so, yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is all about psychological manipulation of Mormons. Think celestial. Keep the covenant path. Repeating things over and over for you. And even though Mormons have no clue, they're now zombies to the church to be manipulated. As the prophets can then tell Mormons, well, in order to keep your temple covenant path, you're going to need to pay us. You're going to need to do us a favor, though, and other stuff that they've been doing to you. And this is emulated by Mormons when it's not a direct command by the church leaders. Mormons then become the weapons of the church using the psychological brainwashing to threaten other people or guilt trip other people into obeying their will. And thus why I get so many thumbs down when people don't even watch my video. They are instantly triggered by what is contrary to the church, and they don't care to study the church. They don't care to study Mormonism or history. It doesn't matter. They've already made up their mind they're going to be Mormon till they die. And they have no clue that the church is doing this for Armageddon purposes, to murder Mormons. And I can't break through to Mormons like that. So my video channel is all about trying to save Mormons who have not drunken that much Kool-Aid. Being born and raised in the church, you are immersed in Kool-Aid. But the public school system has, at least outside of Utah, helped us balance what the church tells us with grounded reality of the science fields in the public school system, which the church vilifies. The physical must be interpreted spiritually. I warned Oaks. I warned him. Then I did it. Then I did it. So, yeah, it's the same type of situation with astrologers, fortune tellers, palm readers. They put out general statements to see the other person's response. And the response will then help them go down that path, whether it's a confusion so that they know not to pursue that avenue, they go down another avenue. Or if they see that, wow, yeah, so now they push on that until the other person tells them everything that the money grabber wants from them. And that's how they get conned. So fortune cookies, yeah, no, it's purposely vague in general, so that you fill in the blanks for it to prove it's true. And so if you've been following me, you know I go over the scriptures about the calendar dates and clock times for future predictions. This is completely different. This is science-based. Astronomy is science-based. Your calendar, hi Lorena, is based upon the movements of the celestial bodies, particularly the sun. For 365 days in a year, and every 4 years, we have a leap year. For February to have 29 days. Because of the movement of the sun as seen from Earth. And our clocks are based upon the same concept, the sun still. Because of the tilting of our Earth and the spin rotation, it therefore produces seasons and different sunrises and sunsets, and a different North Pole every couple thousand years. What is fascinating is that those authors who were Jewish, who the Christians allowed to be put in their Bible collection, were 2,000 years ago. And they knew all this when they wrote their prophecies of the future with the calendar dates and clock times. They knew. So it's completely different. But when you have people who don't know scriptures, who get lied to about scriptures, oh, those who seeketh after a sign have committed adultery. So we shouldn't seek for signs. Or, no man knows the day or the hour. It's all over the place. Yeah, Christians caused this. Christians lied about the scriptures. Creation of Christianity with the Nicene Creed that the Pope confessed to. You got to get rid of all of that. It is not Christian documents. And then you can see the science. The whole concept of judging other people by the results, fruits, Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 15. 3rd Nephi chapter 14. So if you don't even know your scriptures to know false prophets are ravening wolves in sheep's clothing, if you don't even know that scripture, you're way behind in knowledge on religious matters pertaining to the Bible or the Book of Mormon. If you are a Christian, or a Mormon. So, yeah, having been out and about this morning and saying that I still had a video to do today, they've caught me. So, hopefully that will be the end of it, but it's not likely. Nonetheless, moving on, regardless of the bullies of Mormonism, because nobody else gives a damn. It's only the church that abuses me. My own church, that they taught me to study my scriptures. They're the ones who abuse me for studying my scriptures, that they taught me to do. Thomas More's Utopia. Raise a people in the way they should be and then punish them for it. And so my study and my expertise is on doing research. Anthropology. I can do research in any field of science because of that. And so, thus, Tyler Kirk, provide me with the crime scene, and I'll be able to tell you who done it. And I can tell you that Tyler Robinson didn't do it. Prosecution is covering up and hiding the real assassin. Governor Cox, covering up and hiding the real assassin. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, covering up and hiding the real assassin. Erica Kirk, covering up and hiding the real assassin. Forensics is far more powerful than psychologists. And so that has helped me to do church history research. My videos on those history subjects really do need to be paid attention to. I am an expert in this. So going over church history is not about picking and choosing what you want to believe. That makes you mentally retarded. Talk to a psychologist. They'll tell you. You can even go under the guise of, oh, I'm here for Travis's problem. Yeah, come right in. You got money, right? They suckered my parents into that. Got my parents to believe that they were not there for them, they were there for me, to learn about my problems. I don't know the psychologist doesn't know me. But the cops told them. And so they obeyed. Like the dumbasses they are, Judases. And so I don't care what Mormons or ex-foes say about Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, forcing me to believe them. I know you're all wrong. You didn't do the research. You heard from somebody or you read somebody's book and you believe them. And now you're going around as a zombie repeating it to everybody. The Kevin Smith guy that I brought out in the video that I posted this morning. Same thing. All he's doing is regurgitating what he's heard. He hasn't studied the church. If he studied the church, he'd know that Joseph Smith was framed and blamed and assassinated. His religion stolen and turned Christian. There are facts that once the facts are established, anybody going against the facts are liars. Even comedians know they have to base their comedy on reality, because then other people know what they're talking about. If a comedian just makes stuff up that nobody else understands what it is that you're talking about, they're not going to be able to laugh. But that's why the late night comedy is so brilliant, is because they cover the day's events or the previous night's events while they were doing their show for the previous night. Everybody knows what they're talking about. Everybody knows when they say something about Trump. They know. And that's why late night comedy is so successful. But a person who just makes stuff up, yeah, nobody laughs. Nobody believes you. And it's the same thing for non-comedy. If you post stuff that nobody knows about, like the real church history, nobody's going to believe you. And so that's where the trouble is because real church history is factual. And nobody believes it. They won't research it to find out what it is. Everybody has divided themselves into the two camps. The church is either a cult or it's true. And it's both based on fallacy arguments of psychology to control your behavior. And once they get you into these tribal categories, they then can manipulate your behavior to get you to do their will. That's why the church has joined forces with psychology here in these latter days. Family services. Now there's financial crimes that also are involved. The church lies to its membership to cover up the crimes that the church is involved in, and the sedition and the treason and the terrorism and the funding thereof. So Church News puts out the front that they're a religion and that they're good and charitable. So they will only put faith-promoting church news on their website. They aren't going to put truth on there. They aren't going to confess that they've lied to us. Uchtdorf was the closest, but he still wouldn't go there. Everybody else filled in the blanks to have him go there. He didn't go there. But yeah, Nelson booted him out of the first presidency. And Oakes kept him out. So this is emulated by Mormons to commit crimes because the church does it. So it's obviously not a crime. And here's where we get to Gail Miller. She's on the board of Zion's Bank, the church. And she's on the board of the shelters. She gets paid. It is not a free position. She's a business. She needs money. And so what she's done is money laundering. In the latest news scandal, to go back in time to give you context of Gail Miller and what she has done. In the 80s, Gerald and Sandra Tanner emerged as Mark Hoffman became their inspiration for doing what they did. They were excommunicated. Both of them were excommunicated. And so they didn't get sealed in the temple, though. They were excommunicated before that. And they started their own religion, the Utah Lighthouse Ministry. And when Mark Hoffman hit the news, and news came out about a salamander letter and other documents, still not known yet that they were forgeries, it was about church history. And so the Tanners, knowing that the church isn't true, began searching for original church history documents. And they then would publish articles from their Utah Lighthouse Ministry publication about how the church got this wrong and the church got that wrong, or the church doesn't do what this original document says they're supposed to do. And the church would be pissed. And then Mark Hoffman got exposed of being a forger. And the church got exposed for believing him. So the Tanners became very popular as they were able to spread their pamphlets beyond and then would go on to publish Mormonism, Shadow or Reality, their big book. And this reached the library up in Lethbridge, Alberta. That's how I found out about it. How I found out about them. Because in doing research papers on religion, you need to know all sides of the issue, but not for picking and choosing what you want to believe, but for what to research for the facts. There's a big difference. You'll hear BYU scholars or Mormon apologists talk about peer review. You got to be peer reviewed in order to be accepted. No, you don't. Peer reviewed is we're covering up and hiding the truth to be faith promoting. That's what peer reviewed is. Perpetuating the lie. No. You learn from all sides to find out what factual information you need to do the research on. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says Joseph Smith's visionary accounts are literal histories. The Tanners and Exfos and Nevermos say, nope, Joseph Smith lied. None of that happened. So you don't pick sides as to what you believe in. You go, okay, well, I need to go to the spring of 1920 to find out what the facts are in 1920 in Western New York. I need to know what the facts are in 1823 in Western New York. I need to know what the facts are with the text of the Book of Mormon. Because the second vision is about the Book of Mormon. Independent scientific investigation. Ignoring people's opinions and beliefs. Using them only to identify the facts. And so, Joseph Smith Sr. is believed by certain groups to have been a part of the New Israelites, learning Jewish Kabbalah and the Rock and a Hat. But they stop. They don't keep going. I shared with Idaho Chick yesterday as she caught on to a site that talked about Jewish Kabbalah. And so I linked her to Joe Samson's book written by the Finger of God. Told her to look down in the reviews. Yes, there is Jewish Kabbalah in the Book of Mormon. There's also Yorkites, Knights Templar in the Book of Mormon. And I did the pretty picture for you the other week, as I've been telling you for 9,000 videos in 9 years, that Joseph Smith Sr. was the Master Mason in the Yorkite Ontario Lodge number 23 in Canandaigua, New York, and was there on 9/11/1826. Knowing the factual history allowed me to analyze what Heber C. Kimball said, because, he says he appealed to the Canandaigua Lodge to become a Royal Ark Mason. So I can check him with the facts. Everything he said was a lie. But in his lies, he reveals he knows the facts. He just didn't want to tell us. And it was in his journal, by the way. This is a pattern of Brigham Young to his Mormons, telling them to lie in journals. Right, women? Fawn Brody and Sacred Loneliness. When Brigham Young had his little black book of sealings by proxy the whole time. never keep a ledger. If you're going to be a criminal, don't keep records and receipts. Don't do it. You're going to get busted. You're going to get busted. So the Tanners became very popular. And the church, in the beginning, tried to hurt them, to activate them with the new creation of the Strengthening Church Members Committee. And so they got sued a lot by the church, as all they were doing was obtaining original documents and publishing them, showing how the church doesn't follow it. And that made the Tanners even more popular. Jeremy Reynolds, for example, yeah, he didn't come up with that on his own. He plagiarized the Tanners. Jeremy got excommunicated for plagiarism. That's hilarious. At least you weren't a Mark Hoffman who went to prison for his forgeries. Which were plagiarisms that he created. But so, Gail Miller is about the age of Sandra Tanner. I'm not going to check. I don't care. They're about the same age. Gail Miller knows all about the Tanners and the problems they've been to the church. So under Nelson, if not even before, I think they were even doing it before Nelson. Monson was the one who was starting it going, but it was kind of slow in the beginning. Nelson was the one who ramped it up. They started the Joseph Smith Papers. Original source documents from church history when Joseph Smith was alive. Exactly what the Tanners were doing. They were only able to do it because they're not going to spend their own money on it. They want free service labor from Mormons or donations. Enter Gail Miller. Her donations allowed the project to proceed. And the Royal Skousen was appointed to be a part of it, among some others. The Royal Skousen got the major press coverage on it. Because of Daddy. So there's a bigger picture that I know of that I'm not going to be able to tell you guys, like the strengthening, or the Council for National Policy. The coup plot of the church. And so Gail Miller wanted to also be involved, just like Martin Harris, with the Book of Mormon. She's putting the money into it. She better get a big part of the pie. So yeah, church had no problem with that. Because Nelson came out after the whistleblower in 2019, saying every source of revenue that we receive, Gail Miller's donation is a source of revenue. They take 10% out and put it into another LLC company, which then invests that to make more money. Some of it is a portfolio for the stock market. Then the main source, the remainder 90%, is put originally in Zion's Bank. Thus Gail Miller being on the board, the church, the whistleblower talking about the money laundering going on. It's a common practice. Gail Miller didn't have to go far to make the transfer. The payment for Royal Skousen to do the work is as minimal as possible. The church are Scrooges this way. They want people to volunteer their time with church service missions. They want people to do it for free. They want to pay out as little as possible so that the rest of the money gets put into an offshore bank account. Thank you, Australia Press, for that. That is their pattern of practice for every source of revenue, not just tithing. So the church, when they donate to Gail Miller's shelters, it doesn't go for the homeless. In the news yesterday, the Miller family estate donated $10 million to Gail Miller's shelters. She's laundering money to herself. Under the guise of being charitable to the poor. No! Remember, I'm here now. There were 2 girls who lost their jobs for their failure. If you give money to a charity, the recipients that are supposed to receive it don't receive it. If you're going to give to the poor, you need to give actual material goods that they only will use. If you give, say, laundry detergent to a shelter, it's not for the homeless's clothes. It's for the blankets and bed sheets, assuming they have any and that were donated. The homeless didn't take it away with them out throughout the valley. You don't see too many. I don't know. I used to see a lot of the blankets out under the underpass. I don't see those blankets anymore. Because when they don't have them, they can't give them. It's all based on donations. They don't use the money for it. The money goes to the corporate board, Gail Miller, and those running the shelters, the employees. That's it. And yeah, they pay as little as possible to the employees, making it very difficult for them when it's hard to get a job in Utah. It's hard to afford to live in Utah. And so then they extort the employees to do their will, to commit crimes against the homeless, or they get financially hurt with firing. They get extorted. It's a very evil thing that Gail Miller is a part of. But the church does it, so it's got to be good and true. So yeah, Gail Miller just laundering money to herself to make more money for it, as they're likely to get tax rebates or who knows whatever from the government for this, as well as they can write it off for other scams and illegal activities through this process. Insurance fraud, not just tax fraud, investment fraud, other frauds. So that's how it works. And in the state of Utah, the corporations are forced to be criminals in order to stay in business. That's why the mom and pop stores during hard economic times are the first to go, because they didn't compromise by committing crimes. So the Sundance Film Festival, leaving Utah. Yeah. They fed up with Utah. Utah pushed them to commit crimes, and Robert Redford, till his dying day, wanted to keep it separate from Utah's corruption, not just their judging abuse. Moral values to be imposed on his movie presentations. So, yeah, Utah knows about consequences. They just don't learn from it. They think they can do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. What is that the definition of again? Oh, right. Mental retardation. That's because of psychologists. Psychologists tell them to do that, and then when they keep running into struggles, it's because you're mentally retarded. Hey, you told me to do it though. You were the one who did it. Sucks to be you. And so I have Gail Miller Wikipedia, but apparently didn't get her picture from it. Is this what we're going to be using for the thumbnail picture? Because there's other stuff that we need to go over. So yeah, we did the body language. That I covered with Tyler. Oh, yeah. Endangered species being sold on Facebook. Yeah. So again, Facebook is involved in criminal activities through their business dealings. They haven't changed. Right, YouTube? England is suffering a super flu this season. That should be concerning. We're waiting for the trigger event for Armageddon. Remember, we're going to war against Venezuela. What did they do? Nothing. Trump used the same psychological bullying to escalate this to where we're on the verge of war with Venezuela unless Venezuela caves to Trump's will. he started off in the beginning saying that there are Venezuelan drug gangs in America. Utah helped with this, claiming, yeah, Harriman, oh yeah, we've got the Venezuelan gang here, and we're not locking them up? Really? Oh, right, you don't know how to investigate a crime scene. Your cops only know how to shoot people unarmed. As peacekeepers. We're protecting and serving you. Hold still. And thus the low morality in Utah for the police. Because that's not the cause. Low morality is not the cause. It is the behavioral manifestation. The audit even gets this wrong, as the news is covering, oh yeah, low morale in the police department. Oh. How do we raise morale? Go to the cause. They won't do it. They do symptom management instead. As they'll try to do incentives for the police. Get your quota or you're fired. That'll fix it. That'll activate them in the church, in their job. No, that makes it worse. That's what I told you I observed. The previous police chief of Salt Lake City failed to obey Sister Homewrecker Mendenhall to remove the homeless from the streets. He's gone. Forced to quit. I had told him in advance, hey, you've got a major terrorist operation right there at the headquarters. You better get him quick. The police hate you. They're trying to get you fired. Oh, you're gone. Yep, the police don't want to round up the homeless every single day to take them to a place that there's no room in the inn, for which they get no resources. And so, yeah, and to be forced to get quotas in order to stay on the job, or you get demerits and you get fired. Oh, it's not a quota, Travis. We have a different name for it. It's a quota. You're going around taxing people for doing minor offenses of 1 mile over the speed limit. Bleep you. And so, once he got fired and the new guy got put in, the problem still remained. I did the videos. They hate you, Red. They know you're the boy toy for Sister Homewrecker Mendenhall. And he tried. He got the police to go out on patrols to round up the homeless. I even saw it. And actual paddy wagons load them up. But it didn't last. Because that's not what they signed up to do. They signed up to shoot people. They didn't sign up to serve and protect. Their union makes sure that they only get to do shootings. So yeah, whenever there is an incident, you get all of them who were there at the Maverick getting donuts rushing to the scene. We've got a drunk person driving. Everybody goes rushing to the scene. Let's get him. Can we shoot him? That's what boosts morale. If the legislature knew this, if the auditor knew this, they would understand why there's low morale among the police department. Not to mention they get paid like crap for having to meet their quotas. And so, yeah, lots of cities here in Utah, or townships, police department quits and goes to a bigger city to work there instead. Or they get a different job in security. I still remember the scandal at the University of Utah Hospital where the police officer demanded DNA from the suspect and didn't follow the proper protocol and procedures for obtaining it. And the nurse stood her ground, and she ended up getting dragged out by the cop, which made national news, and then the cop got busted. If it didn't go national, he would never have gotten busted. See, as long as nobody finds out about their crimes, they get away with it. Right, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? So, yeah, he had a security job on the side as well. The security job fired him immediately with the scandal. They didn't wait for it to go national. His police job waited until he went national. And the nurse was vindicated. She is a hero for standing up to government abuse. Very sad. It should never have happened. So yes, it's not a morale problem. The problem is the cops are not doing what they hired on to do. Being told to round up the homeless and get quotas is not going to make their life fulfilled. And until the city and the state knows this, the problem will never get solved, and it'll just be made worse. Because I saw it. They purposely created the massive tent camps out here and around the valley to force the higher-ups above their chief to punish their chief. And to punish Sister Homewrecker Mendenhall. So, that is not just with the police department, as I'm sure those who live here know. It's in the church, it's in government, it's in business. When money's involved, corruption is there. So Indiana, weird. They're MAGA. News is still calling them GOP. I don't understand why everybody is still sticking to the label of GOP party. The Republican Party. It's gone. It's dead. It's now MAGA. Trump, MAGA. When are people going to get this? Trump's been repeating it over and 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 over. Why aren't you getting brainwashed into this? Liz Cheney learned the hard way. There is no GOP, you're out. Sensitive snowflake Antifa. And so there's a rebellion among MAGA. There are some dissenters. There are even MAGA followers who are unhappy with the way things are going. They were started because of conspiracies that they made up answers to. They want the government to release the documents so that they can prove that their beliefs were true. So thus the rise of an alien invasion and the pedophile ring of Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein was just gold. Yeah, we knew there was a high-profile pedophile ring around the world. There it is. Get it. We want to see the documents. Oops. Oops. So yeah, Trump got played by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because Mitt Romney lost to Obama. Remember, there's more details that you don't know about. So Indiana rejected their own redistricting map as a protest to Trump. Hilarious. So, yeah, that's it. Still got it over an hour, didn't we? God damn. So, yeah, to finish the story, now you know the rest of the story. Anybody remember that? So, she donates for the Joseph Smith Papers to put the Tanners in their place so that nobody goes to the Tanners anymore. And knowing that nobody's going to go to the Joseph Smith Papers unless the church comes out and says, well, we just found out from the Joseph Smith Papers that this was the case. They never do that. They won't do it. So Mormons believe, well, if there is something there, the church will let me know about it. And they won't. They keep doing the lies. So members believe that there's nothing there. It just proves that the church is true and what they've said is the way it is. And I've been showing you over and 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 over that is not the case. There are bombshells in there that destroy this church. And that is the twisted part of all of this, is that Gail Miller donated to have it done out of spite of Sander Tanner specifically. Gerald's been dead for years. Knowing that the church will publish books that are going to be very expensive and only the rich can afford, and then the rich will never read it. They'll just put it on their book to show it off as a trophy, to show how righteous they are. As the KSL KSL. I think that is how we're going to word it this time, aren't we? Curated clutter, 3 rules for displaying the Joseph Smith Papers. Dum dum dum. Bingo. They will never learn. KSL is forced to incorporate psychology to manipulate their audience. to divert away from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints being false and evil. So, very sad. Alrighty. Oh, right, the rest of the story. So many tangents. Remember Gail Miller was involved in the new baseball field? Yeah, tearing down houses for it. Yeah, guess whose house also was part of the teardown? Tanner's. So again, Gail Miller did the Joseph Smith papers to get rid of Sandra Tanner, to have everybody stop watching, going to them. We've now got the Joseph Smith papers, and then Gail Miller destroyed them, her, Sandra, by forcing them out, evicting them, eminent domain, to rebuild the baseball stadium and the whole shopping mall thing around it. Yep. So yeah, I did the interview with Sandra Tanner, as she said that she was gonna have to move and wasn't sure if the Utah Lighthouse Ministry would continue or if it would just be online. And, yeah, but I talked with her about the Joseph Smith papers. Yeah, you did Mormonism, Shadow, and Reality, and now the church is doing their own version of it, and nobody's actually watching it. She's still defensive about the Sidney Rigdon theory, though. But it's crap. She still believes that Joseph Smith did it with a rock and a hat. I wasn't going to push it. That's not what I was there for. So, God, Gail is really an evil woman and criminal. What was that? I just watched it. Not Handmaids. Before Handmaids. Oh, it was the movie. No. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Gotham. Yeah, I only watched the one episode. I didn't get to any of the others, and now I'm on Andromeda. I forgot that I was doing Batman, or the Gotham TV series. So yes, I'm on Andromeda now. I'm still not sure about it, but you know, Gene Roddenberry was what he wanted to do back in the 60s and 70s, and he died, and so his son, I guess, took it over because I see his son's name in the credits. And so he was able to get it produced, and so yeah, it's okay. I was a little concerned at the beginning with Kevin Sorbo and his Christian imposition in the future. Trying to force the universe to Christianity. But as we're going along, we're separating from that. We still got the other crew member who's a religious nut, who's don't even get me started. You know, at least they got the two women, you know, Lexa Doig and Laura Bertram. And then, yeah, sure, the blonde too, but attitude, women. You gotta have the right attitude. You can be sarcastic, I like that, but, you know, she's too serious. So she's not on my list.